Yeah, that one wasn't the same, but long live the king.
Is that the hair products?
Yeah.
Hair stuff.
That'd be easy, wouldn't it?
Products.
Paula.
Just put that lot in. I've just put that up. Thought it were a double. I was going to put that mattress on it, but it's a bloody king. Get chunkiness on that. It's not my cup of tea, but too good to chew.
Live in case you say something bad.
Well, I was just having a rant about farmers and things we were talking about, and anyway, it came around to farmers, and then I was just having a little rant about farmers and then sheep and stuff like that, and then he goes, "Oh, you can't say any of that." I said, "What?" I said,
"Why not? What were you saying? What were you saying that was so bad?"
"Well, I was just saying what parasites the sheep shaggers they are and stuff like that." But
Do you know what? Do you remember that? I'm not going to use his real name. He's called Julian, all right? He's a guy who lives in Tin Town, who's my ex-boyfriend. You know who I'm talking about. Right? I call him Julian to hide his identity. Anyway, my mother said when my dad died, she said, I'll hire you a van. Can you go up to the Outer Hebrides to bring back things like the Waterford Crystal and the Victoria and Albert dinner service from the house? I mean, it was ludicrous. It cost her a fortune. It would have been cheaper to just buy them new. But anyway, you know what they're like. And Adrian went up with me. You'll have to edit that out, won't he? Julian went up with me. And I went to go and visit a woman I'd known all my life. And she said, "Oh, come out and feed the lambs." And her eldest son, Angus, was there with a bowl of food for the lambs. And Julian went, "Hey, how come that lamb's running away from you when you got a bowl of food, eh? What you been fucking doing?" Well, it went down like a bucket of snot. I couldn't believe he said that.
it was probably true. He was probably quite astute, and he'd have come to that conclusion because he thought about it himself.
Do you not watch Clarkson's Diddley Squat?
No.
No, I've never seen it, but it looks pretty good.
Oh.
You're a blasphemer. You're a farmer hater. You
Absolutely.
hate farmers.
Yeah, and I bet he doesn't.
He's got a very valid point.
I think you're both shocking. Shocking as shit. I'll join you in a bit. I'll let you introduce your shocking brother to the world. Okay. There's a little bit you've got to edit out, so I just fucked up.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I just said someone's real name by accident.
Who, Adrian?
Oh my god! Jones.
Oh no.
Anyway. No. Welcome, YouTubers. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. To introduce you to my brother. No, he's that way. And he lives up in the Pennines, up in Yorkshire, sort of Lancashire, sort of north of Manchester area. So, hence the accent. But he's
up in Phil's.
Up in Phil's, Bullybecks. That's the one. So yes, I mean, we were talking about farmers earlier on, and you were saying, why is it that lamb's really expensive? You went to the supermarket, was it? Got a tiny bit of lamb for $5.
Yeah, you just get a tiny bit of gristle, don't you, with your little it's incredibly expensive considering like you've only got to leave your gate open and there's a sheep or there's a pack of sheep in your garden. I'll do it. I can prove it. I can open my gate here and we can have a chat, right? And after, just forget about it for a bit, and within an hour, maybe not even that, there'll be a flock of sheep in my garden, and it's not so big.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really well. That's how all the coal mines got shut in the northeast, wasn't it? Margaret Thatcher said, hang on a minute. How come it's cheaper to import coal from Germany, get it into Britain, and it's cheaper than these people digging it up right here? That's more expensive. How come what's going on? I'll shut all the pits. I mean, I'm sure there was more to it than that, but that seemed to be the nub of the matter. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there was a few things went on, and it was how they held the country to ransom. The unions in the 70s when you had all the power cuts and all that lot, and so then they thought, well, we'll stockpile it and just hope it doesn't go on fire. So if they do it again, we've still got loads. We've got mountains of it, and all the unions just got too powerful, and we were the sick man of Europe, as far as all that lot.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've said it before. You know, you've got all these really multi-million, billion-pound companies, national companies in the world that are growing, and they're all at war. Not literally at war, but I mean, sometimes it gets to that. But they're all in competition with each other to swallow each other up, and they're influencing politics all the time, aren't they? In the interest of making money. And they don't care if wars break out here and there. They're not bothered.
Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, I haven't wrote it down or taken notes, but you look at a lot of our industries and shipbuilding ones and stuff, and you know, they'd have some big contract with Italy or something, and then they pull the plug once they put like 500 million quid into it, which makes the shipyard fold.
It's all about money, though, isn't it? It's like Mr. Dyson, you know, and he's selling these really popular vacuum cleaners, and he's voting for Brexit and everything, and then he opens up shop in Malaysia or wherever it was. Wasn't in England, that's for sure. Because the prices, I mean, it's all based on. Anyway, I don't like doing politics. Try not to talk about politics. It causes too many arguments. I'm not against any political party. I just don't do politics, and my politics is just generally middle of the road. What seems to be fair at the time, but you know.
Yeah.
So you were talking about farming and farmers, and they're all up in arms about.
No, I wasn't talking about. I wasn't talking about farmers. You were on about rich farmers buying loads of tanks and all kinds of.
Yeah, there's a famous YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name, but he lives on a farm. He's obviously got loads of money, and it's a big farm. And he drives around in all these fancy vehicles. And they go out buying tanks. I mean, tanks. You know, these amphibious vehicles, and he's got a whole farmyard full of these really ridiculous vehicles that you think, why did you buy them? And you go, oh, I get them in, bang, I get the engine out. And they just, I thought, aren't you supposed to be in the field milking the cows and rounding up the sheep, or, you know, growing crops and things? But they don't seem to do any of that. They just mess about with them. And he's got half a dozen planes in the back field, and they go to military auctions and buy things like aeroplane tugs, and they think, well, why? What are you buying them for? I mean, where's all the money come from to buy all this rubbish? And they make videos that they're riding about in the field, having a good laugh, and they're going through ponds and things. And
I don't know the ins and outs, but on those very valid points, if you look at it logically, I mean, they haven't got business rates. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to fill buildings full of old tractors and this, that, and the other. They have got money to dispose of, so they're not paying loads of tax. So maybe they just get that many subsidies.
Yeah.
It's unreal. So we better buy a new Defender, better buy a new tractor, better buy a new combine harvester.
I remember there was a farmer near us when we were kids, and he had no teeth. He had a flat cap, and he wore a string vest and like suit jacket over his string vest, and he always had straw everywhere. And he had a brand new Granada. It was the Mark II, was it? The Mark II, the really nice boxy looking one. 2.8 injection, and he had pigs on the back seat. Pigs were looking out there. The window of the back seat. I thought, you bought a brand new car and you've put pigs in the back seat.
Oh dear.
It's incredible. Anyway, years ago, I know years ago, they had this death duty stuff that came along, and all the big landowners, you know, the big aristocrats with the big houses and things like that, they had loads of land and country estates, and they got hit with death duty. You know, so when the father dies and the eldest son takes over, they've got to pay like a load of, and they've got to find the money. You think, oh shit, you know, it's got, and a lot of these houses they just pulled the roofs off, so they don't have to pay any tax.
Yeah, I saw some being dynamited.
Went derelict, and then people got killed in the First World War, and so the house was taken over by the second eldest son, and then he got killed in the First World War, and the next, so they got like a string of death duties, and they just wiped the family estate out, you know, the family fortune.
Wow.
So it's a little bit unfair, but you've got to have shitloads of money for it to happen, for it to work. I mean, if I drop dead tomorrow,
that's a bit different. It's not farmer.
Death duty on that.
Yeah, it's not a farmer. That's an industrialist. There's probably no longer that industrial.
Probably.
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, what have you been up to today? You've been selling any valuable antiques?
I've sold a couple of bits, but yeah, I've just had somebody come up from Liverpool buying a sideboard and what else? Oh, a big partner's table, but they haven't took that yet. So up, down, up, down.
Get a big load of song seats and some of those reels. All those reels that remember when pianos used to play themselves.
Yeah, pianolas. Yeah, I've got them in the van. I'm going to give them my mate. He's got a pianola. Paid thousands for it.
So I suppose you'd want some new cassettes for it, wouldn't you? Or whatever.
Yeah.
New tunes. I mean, they must have cost a fortune to make them at the time, mustn't they?
Yeah, I know there was a time. There was a time you could get 15 quid each for one. Well, even if you got a fiver each, there's a big box full there that I didn't give a lot for. And in fact, because I brought a box of music sheets in because I was just going to lay them out and put them on for a price. They're really old, I would imagine. A huge box full. Huge box full.
Music and song sheets and that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, you know, in the days before radio, you know, people would all get around the piano, wouldn't they, and have a sing song?
Price £1 shilling net.
Have you got any kind of date on it?
No, not yet. But I haven't even looked at these yet. But I mean, I've got some of them, and it's got added war tax stamped on them.
Oh, I wonder if that was First or Second World War.
Yeah, it was the Great Gillespie. The Great Gatsby. Yeah, with some war tax. There was a stamp on the front.
War tax paid?
Yeah.
Sounds like a scam to me.
£2 shilling.
I'm sure there'll be someone out there that want to collect that stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I say, there was a time you could do it individually. You might get a tenner for one, but now not many people play the piano, and
yeah, but there's stuff that people would want to collect rather than like be a functional item. You know what I mean?
Do you know, it's surprising that there is that, but I mean, some people, masters on the piano can just go on the piano and play anything.
Yeah.
But other people, and they're just equally as good pianists, but they can't do it without the music.
Yeah.
Just how the brain sort of works.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
No, I'm just
musical.
saying.
I can't play anything. I've never been gifted in that way.
He was good. He was very good at playing truant, our kid. He was the best. So don't let anybody tell you any different.
Yeah. Played truant for 6 weeks once, remember, before the wacky officer came round.
Yeah, I do. I remember it well.
Oh, dear.
Did I show you my ring?
No?
Ah,
You got a ring?
you might be interested in this. Hang on. I don't know if you can see. Or if I've got it the
Just,
right way up even.
just see if I can make it a bit bigger. What does it say on it?
Let me check if I haven't got it upside down. Yeah, I've got it upside down. It says Napoli, 1944.
Napoli. It's not focusing on it, so I'll just spell it.
Napoli, 1944, and a picture of the sea with two boats on it, and then the double hills of Vesuvius with smoke coming out the top.
Vesuvius. Right, okay. Naples.
Yeah.
Naples
So, I mean,
must be the
it's
must be the
only,
Italian campaign.
yeah, it's only some alloy, nickel or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, in 1944, it was erupting, old Vesuvius, and as the troops went into Naples, they were selling the GIs or the squaddies these trinkets like that. So
Yeah.
some soldier in the Second World War who was invading Italy has bought it.
That'll be collectible. Someone will be interested in buying that, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably wore it right up to Berlin.
Yeah, well, they came across from Tangiers, didn't they? They invaded Sicily first, and then they moved up Italy to Cassino and that, and they invaded Anzio, and then they just kept maybe pushing up from the south.
Yeah.
All
In
good
fact,
stuff. So anything like that is collectible for sure.
yeah, but it's not that. I mean, in itself, it's not worth anything. But you know the story behind it. I mean, I've just got it in a box of other curios, and then
Recognise what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but you think, well, where it's been, and how many battles it was in, and whose was it, and yeah.
Well, there was a lot of British there as well as Americans, you know.
You're absolutely. But I'm saying Emma's granddad, he was in the invasion of Sicily, and he was in the desert fighting Rommel before that. And yeah. He said, we didn't know if we were going to be alive tomorrow, and all that lot. He said,
so, I mean, partying today. Yeah.
You'd just been to Italy on your holidays, and he said, did you have your passport? And you'd go, yeah, of course I did. Yeah, he said, we didn't.
Lost it. Must have lost it somewhere when we landed on the beach.
Yeah.
Never mind, eh? Took me to go back to England and get another one. On the next plane. Yeah.
No, but that was me. That was me interesting cigar box I was telling you about. Showing it you before, haven't I?
Oh, the ship HMS. Can't remember.
Constance.
That's
Can't remember. Do you know about HMS Caroline?
Remind me.
Well, Anyway, it's something like the second oldest ship that was in service or something. So you got HMS Victory.
Oh yeah,
Yes?
yeah.
You've heard of that, and I've got a
Yeah,
piece of
that's
it
the
over there.
oldest. That's the oldest.
I've got a piece of it over there. Well, the other
Yeah,
one,
you said the pen piece
yeah,
of wood.
because
Yeah.
they've refurbed it a few times because it was old when it was in the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yeah, it was. It was.
They would have scrapped it then, but must needs and what have you. But anyway, so they've refurbed it. So there's thousands of tons, I suppose, of wood been replaced. So there's loads of trinkets.
People buy it. People buy all the wood up and they make things out of it.
Yeah. Well,
And,
anyway, so HMS Caroline. So these cruisers. So there's a picture of it there. You've seen it. You've seen it before, haven't you?
I have. I saw the thing on the back from Camel Aid. That's in Liverpool, isn't it? Well, other side.
Yeah. Got the badge
Birkenhead.
there. It's a proper thing. So each individual ship.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this isn't your standard. Yeah, what they call it, souvenir thing. I think this is the actual one that had been on the captain's table.
Well, they could have made a few of them. You know, they could have been in. I was thinking about that. They could have been in the mess. You know, in the
Yeah, they had
wardroom.
smaller, not smaller ones, not big ones like this. So
Don't
you
know how
might
big
be right.
the cigars were that they smoked.
Huh?
Don't know how big the cigars were they smoked in those days.
Well, these are
They'll be
great
blowing
big fat,
smoke in each other's faces, wouldn't they, in the
these
wardroom?
are great big fat ones for. So yeah, so this particular one is Constance, yeah, and I have seen other ones that were up, but anyway, so it's sister ship, which is I think it's the same as it, made in Camel Aids. They spat them all out in 1915.
Yeah.
And that one still survives, and I think they spent about 1.5 million on it. It's in the Maritime Museum in Belfast.
Oh, okay.
So they spent like £1 million or 1.5 million on it a few years ago to make it so you could put tourists on it. You know, go and have a walk around it,
Yeah,
and you can do a virtual tour. And I did a virtual tour, but they didn't have the cigar box on the captain's table. But
right.
so
Someone would
anyway,
have had it long since, wouldn't they?
yeah, I'm assuming that this was the one and the one for that ship.
Well, if your ship's being decommissioned and scrapped and you're an officer and you're on that ship, you know, chances are that cigar box would be one of the first things to go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Especially with,
Yeah. But
especially if there were scouters on board, they'd have robbed everything off it before it went to the scrapyard.
No.
No.
So yeah, it's not silver; it's copper.
Silver plated.
Silver plated, yeah. Yeah, it's very heavy. But I had found a couple of them. One had been in Sotheby's and one had been in Christie's. I don't know, 20 odd years ago. Gone for a couple of £100. Maybe they didn't appreciate what it was. But yeah, if indeed that was sat on the captain's table, I mean, that ship was in the Battle of Jutland. And more importantly, I mean, that's interesting in itself. More importantly,
Why?
I was saying to you before when they had the Russian Revolution, the Bolsheviks.
Yeah. They were the rescue party for the Romanovs, yeah.
Because I believe, albeit it was all secret, so Constance had fell off the radar. It was one of the ships, or if indeed it was the one. They sent a party in to try and rescue the Romanovs, and they ended up having a bit of a ding dong with the Bolsheviks, and so obviously they didn't manage to rescue them. In fact, they might have caused them being executed. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just guessing.
Stop them from getting rescued again, you mean? Right, shoot them before they get rescued again.
Yeah, possibly.
There's a big thing about the Cambridge. I think it's the I think it's the Cambridge emeralds, that they were in the Romanov property, and some agents from MI5, because there was no MI6 in those days, they went and they retrieved, they pretended to be plumbers and stuff. It was a big operation, and they retrieved jewels that had been hidden behind a wall. It was like wallpapered over, and smuggled them out. And Queen Mary bought them. I don't know if it's the
Was that Granny's chickens?
one of Queen Mary's. Well, Queen Mary acquired a lot. But yeah, I love the history that you've got behind that Romanov story.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I can't corroborate it. I mean, I don't know. I only even found out about it about 6 months ago. I came across it, and it was somebody asking questions about. I just looked up Constance for that, you know, to read up on it on the tin, and that popped up, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that, and
It's one of the beauties of the internet. There's a lot. You can do a lot of research online. You can find all kinds out.
Yeah, go on.
I'm not particularly good at researching, but some people are like really, really good at researching. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to hold up the object, there's a lot of people who watch who are that their knowledge is phenomenal. They astound me.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I did have it held up. I was showing the ship and all that. I was just telling Graham about its sister ship, which is the second oldest. I don't know. It was a ship that they were using. It's Caroline.
Yeah. It's in Belfast now.
I mean, they built the Maritime Museum in Belfast, and they spent.
I wonder why it went there. Was it built there, or was it built in Camelot like that one?
Camelot. I don't know. It's just probably a good big museum. They've
got the Titanic Museum in Belfast. That's where they built the Titanic, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been. I won't mind having a look.
I don't know if they still build warships and things there. I don't know. But they've still got all the big cranes there, that's for sure. The overhead lifting stuff.
Yeah.
That's all still there, but I don't know if it's still active as a shipyard. I don't know.
It's a really interesting job you've got, actually. You're a bit like a treasure hunter, aren't you?
It has its moments. But
what's the highlight of your career?
What's the best thing you've ever found?
Hasn't happened yet. I've had some really interesting bits and pieces and found the odd little bit of treasure, but I mean that's interesting, you know. And nobody bid on it, and I got it for next to nothing. It had been a child's trinket box. It had actually gone to the tip because the particular auction I was going to, everything they had, they got from the tip. Now, I don't mean they went rummaging on the tip. I mean,
tip shops, things like that.
I know. I remember when we were living in Shoreham, there was all the bin depots had a shop.
Yeah.
So
they filled a container with that can go for the auction, and the auction buys it blind. Because it went really downhill, the auction, when our local tip closed, and we didn't get any refund off the council tax, but so they were driving miles up, I think Lancaster, tips up Lancaster, which is an hour away, and getting stuff from the tip there wasn't quite as good as the local tips. So that it was full of tat and like costume jewellery, but a kid had it, and it was all destroyed. There was nothing worth giving away, and so nobody looked at it twice. They didn't look at the tin. It was in an auction open like that.
How much did you pay for it?
Oh, 5 big ones.
You never asked that price. You never asked.
£5?
Yeah.
That's what I know him at 5 big ones.
Exactly.
You paid £5. You should have an auction house online. I've been saying this for years. You should list all the stuff.
I've got enough quality things to have on.
Mike's, it should be Swap Shite. Do you remember Swap Shop?
Yeah.
Should be Swap Shite. New
Hello,
website.
Noel. Yeah.
And,
Checkers.
Look, Rock stuff. Who wants to sell it?
you could be like Drew, couldn't you? Know that flat cap guy who's got the fellow
He's
who
watched
drives-
him. He's watched him. He says,
Oh,
"He didn't make any money doing that. He was making money from his telly
Well,
program."
no, he drives 500 miles and buys an egg cup, doesn't he?
Yeah, he drove hundreds of miles down the Birmingham area with a man and his van there, and he went into this stately home, and he had all this wacky stuff like I have, but obviously better. And so his original collection, as he improved his collection, it went in the cellar, and you'd go in and you'd go, wow, how much for the lot? But he goes and he finds the worst three things, and I'm on about bits of rubbish that you wouldn't have give anything for. Nothing.
And then he takes it back to his wife Rebecca, and she always says, "Oh, that's lovely."
He goes. I'll give you 300 quid for this. That's great. It's a this, it's that, and it's the other. But it was a piece of rubbish.
And then worse, he goes, "No, not 300. I'll give you 500. I'm being a bit of a bastard. No, I'll give you 1,000. I'll give you 1,000." And then his vegetable assistant opens the roller door of the Luton van, and there's fuck all in it. And he'll put the egg in the middle. It's not even secured. And you go, "Rebecca will love that." What's he called? Drew something or other, isn't it? Pritchard, that's right.
So there was
a flat cap, isn't
there's always a lamp involved, and I think there was an old lamp, and not even a complete one. And then this other thing that was just a piece of and then this other thing, and he gave hundreds of pounds for it and goes, "Right, thanks a lot," and shook his hand, and they drove off hundreds of miles, and you're like, what just happened there?
And on the TV show, they show a map of England. They go, "Look, Drew's here in North Wales," and he drove all the fucking way up here to fucking Scotland to buy an egg cup. And there's this vegetable driving it. Well, you call him Cabbage, don't you? Ooh. Although I quite like the driver.
Didn't he run off with Drew's missus in the end?
No, Drew.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Drew, beautiful Rebecca, apparently. I was following it on Google.
I don't know what part of it's real and what part of it's fantasy. I've no idea. I just watched that one and thought, bollocks. And that was that.
You're not seriously suggesting that the TV might try and deceive us.
Well, he got on a boat. He went to Norway, and they went to a car boat sale in Norway, and he bought a few horse brasses, and then came back.
I quite liked the bit that he did a whole series where he went around European castles. I actually really fucking love that one.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, as a holiday.
I used to watch him and Dynamo. I was like, whatever happened to fucking Dynamo? Eh? He was brilliant. Walked on water and everything. Flew up in the sky,
Yeah.
He was fucking marvelous.
So we'll just put the lid on that one. I watched it thinking it was something real.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just naive. I thought everybody had mentioned.
Question.
Oh, I'll have to watch it.
What age were you when you finally realised that they're bullshitting us on the telly? What was your defining moment where you thought, "Hang on a minute"?
No, I think I've always had that. I think I've always thought.
I don't know. Graham said you had a crush on Shirley Temple.
Oh, that was when he was tiny.
Well, that obviously wasn't his defining moment, was it? There must have been a moment when you thought, "This is full of fuck off."
Well, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of it right at this moment in time.
Oh, okay, I can remember mine.
You're better off talking to me when I'm having a drink, because I access different parts of the.
Yeah, different parts of the brain.
Tell you when I realised that they're all
Yeah.
full of shit and
Yeah.
telling us lies. We used to have a church at the top of our road where we used to live in Liverpool, called All Saints Parish Church. You can look it up. And All Saints Parish Church was one of these places we'd go as kids to play out.
Chilwell Church.
Loads of graves, and you're wandering around, and you didn't know anything about the history of Liverpool. Nothing. You're just kids. You're just playing. And somebody said to me one day, "Did you know this church is one of the oldest churches in the country?" And I said, "No, didn't know that. It looks quite old." And they said, "It was mentioned in the Doomsday Book." And I went, "Was it? Was it really?" And I thought, "What's the Doomsday Book? What's he talking about?" Anyway, these things, pennies drop over a period of time. And anyway, it turns out the Doomsday Book was written in
1066 or so.
shortly after 1066, when William had
Oh,
taken
Willie the
over.
Conqueror.
And he
Yeah.
thought, right, I want a full inventory of everything I've got in the land, write everything down in this book. And that was the Doomsday Book. So I've got a long story short. Yes, it is in the Doomsday Book. So I looked at Michael and he looked at me and we said, right, here's the game we can play. Let's find the oldest grave, because this church was already here in 1066. So let's find the oldest grave in the cemetery. Right. So we spent probably days searching the cemetery. But the oldest grave we could find was from the 1700s.
Do you know, it's like a dream to me that I found a really old one, but not on that day, because I was kicking myself that I didn't find it when we were having the competition.
We had to scrape the moss and the grass
Scrape
off
the
the
moss.
grave to read the writings, remember?
Yeah. Oh, it was full.
So I thought, hang on, 1700s? There's like 600 years missing here. Where's all the graves gone?
Well,
And they thought, well, it costs money. We've got to pay the church. So what they did is they waited till all the relatives were dead, and they dig someone up and then get rid of them and say, oh, we've got a grave. Who wants to buy a grave?
perhaps, yeah.
And they just dump all the bones and just get rid of them somewhere.
Well, they had bone houses as well, didn't they? So
Yeah.
So
what's a bone house?
So you'd have a purpose-built building, usually on the church grounds, like the Anglican Cathedral in Liverpool's got one, because that was quickly filled. You've got a city of nearly 1 million people, and they're all, as they're being born, they're dropping dead, and so the graveyard was full within, not very long. So then, like you say, they'll dig them all up, and they'll stick all the bones in a bone house. Isn't that like the catacombs in France?
I know about the catacombs, but yeah, I have wondered that before, if that was like an illness, like a virus, or people say it was a culling of human beings or a war. But I have wondered before if it was a way of them just
clearing the space.
making
Well,
space.
making money. It's nothing got to do with room or space. I mean, it's just making.
Yeah, but say if everybody had a grave, then I suppose over 1,000 years the world would be covered in graves.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
oh, your scouse was coming out there.
the world.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you're a Victorian and you're well-to-do, your dearly beloved has just died, and you've just gone to the cemetery and you've bought a plot, and you've gone to the expense of an expensive funeral, with the horses and the plumes and everything, the horse-drawn hearse, and you've even gone to the expense of, because do you remember some of the gravestones were really fancy and ornate?
Oh, fantastic! And the statues, they all got vandalised.
And you think, well, I've bought that, it cost me a lot of money, and my relative is going to be there till the end of time. So you think, but no, obviously, a few 100 years down the road, up they come, and they flog it to Jack Jones down the corner, because he's got.
Well, it's a practicality, really.
Why is it practical?
Well, there's not enough fucking room, is there? My grandfather bought a plot for his first wife. She died when she was about 57. And there were endless arguments every fucking Christmas about who was going to be buried, because he married again. What would he do
All
to
right.
his wife? And oh, my dad dreaded the arguments. Family grave.
Did you have to pay for it? Sure.
My grandfather paid for it, and when he died, my father obliged. Then my father died. My mother felt obliged when my mother died. We kind of, well, I didn't feel obliged. Actually, I've got two sisters, and I went, fuck that shit. Fuck it off. You know, there's been nothing but arguments about it. Oh, the
Wow.
trolls, this, they can go to, it's Hove Cemetery Trolls. You can go and look for Holly Christie. Anyway, when my mum died, my sisters paid them something like £1,500. And I said, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
No, just a one-off. And they said they'll trim the grass and look after the grave. One of my sisters
Splitting
went,
the stones.
but one of my
They're
sisters,
leaning over a bit.
it was leaning over and it was all caved in. The middle sister, she went, looked at it 6 months later, they hadn't done jack shit.
Just
Just
took the
money
money.
in the wind. Money in the wind. Just
Maybe
gone.
that's how it works these days. You got to pay every year rent for the grave, and if you don't pay it, up they
I'll
come.
dig you up. Oh dear.
That's sacrilege, isn't
You're
it?
better off going to the crematorium, and you get it over with. It. No point in keeping
Didn't
old
you have a
bones.
friend who said he wanted to be blown up by dynamite or something?
Yeah, it'd be difficult to arrange, though, wouldn't it? You know. There was a
Oh,
woman.
dear.
I heard this. I don't know if this story's true, but this is the story. She was an actress, an Italian actress, and when she died, in her will, she said that she wanted a skeleton to appear in films so that she
dear.
could carry on acting. And in the film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, when Clint Eastwood kicked the grave coffin lid open, and there's the bones of Art Stanton in the grave, you see the skeleton like that. That was it. Everyone assumed it was obviously a fake skeleton, but the story goes that was real. That was this woman.
I also recognised her. Yeah.
So your career doesn't end just because you're dead. I hope she got paid.
I don't know if you can see this.
It was a very quick appearance, I have to admit.
I don't know if you can see this cheap glass.
Oh, that's another thing I was. Oh,
What have you got in
whiskey.
it? That's ginger ale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Can you see this?
Large whiskey.
Can you see this glass?
Yeah, can't read the writing on it. So the king. The king.
Okay.
That's Edward, is it?
No, that's not Edward.
It says E8 on it.
It says the king, but that's
It's not a George, that's an E.
That's not
Edward.
Is that Edward?
If that's an
Edward the Eighth.
If that's Edward the Eighth, that glass is worth a fortune.
Oh my God, Michael! Is it Edward the Eighth?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's worth money. Don't fucking use it.
Don't get pissed
No,
off.
Oh my God! Have you got any idea how much things cost that have got it? Has it got Prince of Wales or? It's got Edward the Eighth.
Long live the king. Yeah.
Oh, don't break it! Don't break it!
Listen, coronation, May the 12th, 1937.
Wow, that was made for his coronation. He was
I
never
mean,
coronated.
that is worth a fucking fortune, you nutter, and you're drinking whiskey out of it.
It's a
That's
really
something
cheap.
safe.
It's a really cheap, really thin glass that they probably made millions of.
They made millions.
Break it.
They
Oh
made
my
millions of them.
God.
It's like Charles and Diana. They made millions of tea towels.
No. He was never coronated. That is anything with because they printed a load of stuff in expectation.
Yeah.
But because it never happened, and he's the abdicated king. Oh my God, you've got no idea.
Any stamps or any
Well,
coins with
You
Edward's
are
head
a
on.
Philistine.
Worth a
Before you get too excited, it's
It's
worth
not
about
fake. You
15
had it
quid.
done, didn't you? You fucking
You what?
rotten bastard.
Is it a replica? Yeah.
No, you can see them, but because it's a poor quality glass, but it's a good shape. You know, for drinking it feels well in your hand. That sort of shape.
Yeah.
And you do your measure to there, and then if you put a mixer in,
Yeah, but
and
what's he saying?
it works well. It's a cheap.
Where did you get it?
Well, a lot of stuff, you know, it's out of bereavement houses. There's loads of shite, and you get lots of memorabilia.
Someone had a job lot made. Oh, that's a
If it's a replica, it's worthless. But if it's the
It's not-
genuine thing from 1937,
It's not a replica. It's a mistake, isn't it? It's
no,
the-
it's not a mistake.
No, it's not.
It's genuine.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Michael! It's like if you find a stamp with the monarch's head the wrong fucking way round, it's worth a fortune.
right. They made $1 million of these, and they're
Yeah.
rubbing their hands. And then the next minute, old Eddie there goes, "I'm not," you know. He said, "I'm jacking it. I'm advocating. I'm doing one. I'm getting married to Simbo." Yeah. To Mrs. Simbo, and they're all like, and they're looking at these pallets and pallets and pallets of stacks of glasses. They've all had it all engraved.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're giving them away for next to nothing.
You're lying. You went to the cheap shop, bought a glass, and had it engraved, especially for this video, didn't you?
This is an old glass, and you can even.
You can tell if you know, there can be experts. Oh my God, Michael, I urge you, call Sotheby's tomorrow. I urge you, seriously.
It's worth about 15 quid. I've looked it up.
No, because glass
It's
breaks.
just interesting.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 50 quid for that glass. I will personally give you 50 quid for that glass. Get a packet, nice.
I can't bloody post it, can I?
Bring it over.
You fucking can.
Bring it over with you when you come.
Yeah, open the suitcase. And
oh, your brother's little card, isn't he?
The old drop kicking
I
his
can't
fucking
fucking
suitcase.
course. No,
No,
It's a
seriously,
thing.
if it's genuine, you know.
I want to drink out of that glass.
She's a collector of royal stuff, and she's just offered you 50 quid for it. So there
I'll
might
give
be
you
someone
50
out there.
quid. I'm serious. I'll give you
Paying
50
for
quid
it, you know.
PayPal.
Something like that is only worth what someone's prepared to pay for it.
And I'm prepared to pay 50 quid.
So at the end of the day, you can buy a glass like that for 2 quid, can't you, down the Chinese shop?
no.
So
I've researched it, and it's
commode as well.
it's got. You can see all the bands of. You know, it's old. You can even feel the ripples.
yeah.
But I researched it when I found it. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And well, obviously, I knew the class as 1936 as being the year of 3 kings, which it is. But they didn't coronate him till, you know, didn't crown him.
I don't know when George VI was coronated. But I mean, it's easy to find out, isn't it? I don't have all these dates in my head. I don't need to know everything, you know.
No, but I would imagine it would have been on the same day. Why change the day? They just changed the king.
I've got no idea.
So that's saying
No
it was,
maybe they did that, maybe not.
May the 12th, 1937.
Anyway, people, answers down below, please. Tell us what you think. What do you think? If that's a genuine glass and not a reproduction, assuming it's real from the time,
And you should show him these.
how much do you think it's worth?
My fake Winston Churchill.
Oh yeah, Fiona's got some fake Winston Churchills.
Yeah.
There was a guy, a forger, and he was banging them out.
I'm really proud of these actually because they're not Winston Churchills. Winston Churchill did do watercolours. He was given a watercolour set, but he was very, very young. And I actually thought they were really good. Where's the camera? And because we live in Spain, they're kind of like that. But what really impresses me is that it's a forger that made them. And I've got 2 of them, and I paid £380 for these.
Wow.
Because they were a forger. And I just love them because I remember all the watercolours that my grandparents and Auntie Helena had. And they're really reminiscent of that. And the forger has just fucking done a marvellous job.
But you see, Churchill mainly painted with oil paints.
He did.
He started off with watercolours, and
But he did do watercolours. And I emailed Sotheby's and they went, Winston Churchill never did watercolours. And I thought, fuck off, intern.
But she got it because it was a forgery, you know. That's
yeah.
famous forges. You see, nobody collects famous forges stuff. It's like the sewing machine. I said to you about the sewing machine. You know, the one with the little ones with the hand crank. If you
Yeah.
have one of them that's mint, that is super collectible because it's a piece of industrial history. You know what I mean? And 100 years after they've been
Do you know?
produced, they still work. Don't need electricity for them. They're a cracking piece of engineering.
Okay.
Everyone, come.
I got one yesterday, right? But it's a bit of a surprise because there's no key.
Oh.
And I didn't give a lot for it. It's in the back of the van. I thought, yeah, I'll just open it with the screwdriver.
So to
And
break
see.
the lock, you can pick those locks easy enough.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't mean break it. The
Yeah.
keys are normally just like
Yeah,
a screwdriver. They're not like a key.
What I'm saying is they're going to be collectible. You know, I mean, no one's going to sew with them because they're just too old. You can go to the supermarket and buy a nice new Hitachi, can't you, and do all your sewing.
Yeah.
But as an engineering piece, work of art, I think they're super collectible. You know, they will be worth money in time.
There's one there. There's two in my van. There's a good one. The Jones. There's one there, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that tidy.
I saw one, a singer, in a charity shop in Brighton, and it was £12. And I said to Fiona, I'm having that. And she said, no, where are we going to put it? Where are we going to? We were living in a boat at the time. It was dead small.
Yeah.
I thought, fair enough. There's nowhere to put it, you know. And women will look at them and they'll go, oh, my God, I had one of them. I don't want one of them. But they're not seeing what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is a fabulous piece of history, you know.
Yeah.
Engineering piece of history, and you get one.
I had one not long ago.
When you get a better one, you just get rid of the first one, you know, and you just finish up with a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I had a treadle one not long ago. Well,
Take up too much room, though, that's the problem. I mean, treadle ones are cool. People used to turn them into tables for pubs, didn't they, and things like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So I've got a few kicking about in my warehouse, but this one, it had the original receipt with it, and it was a lot of money.
Oh, there would have been. There was a lot of engineering went into them.
But I mean, it was really early. I'm on about First World War sort of time.
Yeah. Well, that one you sent me a picture of, the Jones. There was I looked them up on Wikipedia, and Jones in 1935 they'd sold one to the Queen Alexandra or something like that, and they very proudly put by appointment to Her Majesty Queen Alexandra. I can't see Queen Alexandra sitting there, can you? Sorry, but
yeah, to the household for repairing the odd
ball gown.
Well, yeah, turning up the odd ham or whatever. Probably more.
It's fascinating stuff. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, didn't you pick up a gun camera from a fighter plane from World War II?
Still got it. It's in that drawer over there.
I mean, what people don't know so much about, I mean, with airplanes, every time you fired the gun camera rolled with the film, and there was another one that was quite close in, especially on Spitfires, but they put them on everything. So they were recording what you were shooting at. So the people back at the base could see, oh yeah, you missed, or yeah, oh you got that one, you know, or what. And they could evaluate your shooting at the time.
Yeah.
And I think you've got one that's never been fitted on you to anything.
Yeah, it's in the box. I don't know if it's off a Spitfire. Do you want me to dig it out?
Cameras on everything, I'm pretty sure.
Do you want me to dig it out? We're just putting a bit of.
I want to round it up at about an hour. We've got 8 minutes left, so we'll pull it out and.
Hang on, we'll just turn that round.
We'll have a look because there might be someone that put a bid in. So I'll give you so much for it because I mean, there's not a lot of demand, is there, for Spitfire gun cameras?
Not really.
And where do you buy the film and where do you take the film to be developed? I mean, and who's got a Spitfire? Just stick it on. You know? I mean, everyone's got a GoPro these days, don't they? Just pop them on the windscreen. There you go.
Bloody hell, it's heavy.
Heavy. I was in the museum at Hendon last year, and
wouldn't you think If they're sticking something in an aeroplane, they'd make it light.
Yes, you make it as light as possible, really, realistically.
With care from electronics.
Has it got a make? Special apparatus. Yeah. All the original packaging as well. That's cool. I mean,
Is it upside down the right way? I can't see.
oh, I can't tell from here. Looks upside down. Looks upside down. But anyway, just carry on. Let's open it up. Let's have a look at it. They're keeping everyone in suspense if they're still here.
Oh. Eek. Ah. Forgot all about it, really.
I did write to somebody who thought might be interested, and they never wrote back. Just there's this sign on the other end. Move it to the other end. There. What does that say? Camera or something? I can see camera type something. Government property arrow. And what does it say underneath? You've got serial numbers on it as well.
Model number D.18, and then camera type G45, 24 volts, something 1390, serial number 13369, Williamson Company.
Right. Pull it out of the box, Huggy, see if you can.
London and Reading. Oh, it's got other numbers on the lens.
Look at that. That's a cracker, isn't it?
It opens up.
And I saw on the Spitfire at Hendon, there was about 15 Spitfire I was sat in, and the gun camera was really inboard on the wing. It was on the starboard wing, really inboard, and looking through the propeller. So that's where you put the film and everything, yeah?
Well, yeah, and that, unless there's some in. Don't know what that is. I don't want to mess with it, really. It's all pristine.
No, don't mess with it. Don't try and clean it. Don't do nothing to it. Just leave it as it is. You might have some sort of dates on the postage stamp on the box that might indicate its age.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it's Second World War, obviously it's going to be more valuable than post-war.
I have a question for both you Mitchell brothers. And you might want to edit this bit out.
Fine.
Just an honest question. Have either of you ever heard of anybody called Delroy Davis?
No.
I have.
Oh, okay. You might want to edit this bit out then.
Why, go on, tell me.
That's what Slimy Green has just uploaded a video all about Delroy Davis and how you murdered a Hell's Angel.
Oh. Well, I never. I think Delroy was actually up in court for murdering a Hell's Angel.
Yes, he's posted loads of newspaper articles.
Yeah.
Who's Delroy then?
Oh, he was. I only met him once, and he was one of the Javelin gang who had smuggled pot from the Amsterdam to the UK when we all got nicked.
Right.
And he was the one who got away. He was the one who was hiding in the stream.
Oh, right, like Predator.
Yeah, and the helicopter was flying past, and he dropped down underwater, and he was like, "This is my favourite film. This is my favourite country." The helicopter lost him, and anyway, he staggered out and did one across the fields in the. Anyway, they caught up with him at some point later, and he was on trial for murdering a Hell's Angel.
What did he have against the Hell's Angel?
No idea.
Because we've got a stalker, Michael. We have a stalker, and I believe that stalker will probably become your stalker, unfortunately, because anybody, Faith's had it, Benji's had it, anyone who's associated with us, unfortunately.
Cranks.
including apparently this Delroy guy.
Long story short, he was found not guilty.
He's joking, was he? So he didn't murder a
No.
angel.
Not at all.
What was he like as a person?
Like I said, I only met him once when he was sat in the back of the car.
Was he all right?
Seemed all right. I was with my mate, obviously, and this guy jumped in the back and he wanted the depositions because they were going to charge him with smuggling pot from.
Smuggling, but I mean,
So-
it was a big thing back in the day, wasn't it?
Well,
Cannabis.
what I understand happened was they had witnesses, and the witnesses didn't pick him out on the identity parade. So they had another identity parade, and the witnesses came in, and they didn't pick him out. So they had another identity parade, right?
Really?
Witness came in, went straight up to him and said it was him.
Oh, that's suspicious.
And on later interview, the woman said, well, the police showed me the photograph before we went in and said, don't forget, it's this guy. Look, it's this guy. And she said, well, the police, they're right, aren't they? You know, they know who it was. So I just picked out the guy I saw in the photograph. The judge went, case dismissed. Get out of my court.
Is Delroy a man of colour?
Yes.
Well, I know that anyway because I've just watched Slimy Green's video. Oh, aren't these trolls pious? Don't they just love it? They go, oh, I found a bit of dirt.
Well, sorry to interrupt, but I was just thinking, well, if it didn't get done for when you lot got done, then surely you're incriminating him by talking about it.
Oops.
Well, I'm just telling you what happened. I mean, the judge dismissed the case. I mean, that's the story. I wasn't in court. I don't know. That's the story I was told. I mean, that might not be true at all. How the fuck should I know? I wasn't there.
Yeah, you should.
I was in jail at the time the man got shot, right? So it had nothing to do with me.
I think Michael thinks that what you're inquiring for might have been a bit of smuggling of cannabis, which actually, on reflection these days, is fuck all.
Yeah,
You know, the newspapers always said drugs. Drugs is an enormous umbrella. That always irritated me because it could be heroin, it could be ecstasy, it could be, you know, lots of things. But cannabis, I mean, everyone smokes weed these days. It's legalized pretty much everywhere.
I don't even know if it's still smuggled in. I think they just grow it here.
Well, they wouldn't smuggle it these days because it's legal.
Well, everyone was buying seeds, weren't they, from Amsterdam, from the Sensi Seed Bank in Amsterdam. In case anyone wants to order it. And they just cleared it under the stairs, and they're just like, and that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I've got to cut all that out. I can't say that on YouTube.
Oh, of course you can.
No, you can't. You can't.
Slimy Green is posting it all over his fucking channel with his 47 subscribers watching.
You mean slimy?
No,
green?
Slimy Green.
Slime green.
And that's been the big build up. Oh God, we've had everything. We've had everything. You know, they've thrown everything at us. They actually, the creep actually bought a copy of Ben's birth certificate last week and put it up on his channel and said that it's all illegal and we're guilty of perjury because I put a false name on Ben's birth certificate. Because, you know, I used to be called Jackie. So I put my name then as it was, Jackie. And he's demanding I get arrested and that Ben is an illegal immigrant. And we all need to be, we all need to be arrested. This creep sent me a fucking letter before action. I mean, he's a crank, actually. I'm sorry to say he's schizophrenic.
Yeah, there's a lot of them about. So, you know, you just stay out of the way. You know.
Well, you can't when you're on YouTube. That's the thing.
Yeah, you get a YouTube channel. The problem is, the bigger you get with a YouTube channel, the more you attract. I mean, most people are great. They're absolutely fantastic, most followers.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Fiona's got 40,000 subscribers, and we've only got one crank, really. So he's 1 in 40,000, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the majority
I-
of people are sterling, fucking sterling. Lovely.
Yeah, I find like certainly 1 in 1,000, but those 1,000 people have been quite well vetted as well. You know, they've weeded out a lot, but I only really cop for. Well, I might not cop for any in 1,600 customers, and then I might get 3 in a row.
Yeah.
You know, it's the law of sod.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mentally ill people knocking about. There's a lot of cranks. There's a lot of.
There is. Yeah.
So anyway, the stuff that you get, you must get a lot of messes that come and mess you about.
Not,
And you don't
not a
post
lot.
anything. I mean, if you had like a sideboard, you're not going to post it, are you? It's to London,
I'm
for
guessing
example.
it's by.
If somebody wants it, they're going to have to arrange a courier. You have to come and collect it.
Yeah, but that it's a double-edged sword as well, because I sell stuff really cheaply anyway, and then they want you to stay in all day for a courier that might not even turn up.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I had one and it was a really expensive sideboard, a £1,000 sideboard, Marks and Spencer's thing, and it was a couple £100. And they sent a courier, and same as this weekend gone. So I've got it in my van for them out in my warehouse, and then the courier doesn't come, so it's in the back of a van, freezing cold, and it's all proper. It's all natural wood, and they reckoned that they knew about wood and this, that, and the other. And anyway, by the time they did pick it up, it had been a big snowstorm for days, and this thing was stuck in the back of my van. Anyway, they come and took it. They were saying that the drawers wouldn't open and the cupboard. I said, well, when it was in my warehouse before it went in the back of the van, it was fine. And then you cancelled on me. I couldn't take it back to my warehouse. They were coming the next day. Then they didn't. Then they were coming the next day. Then they didn't. Then they came on the Monday or whatever it was. And so I said, well, if you know anything about natural wood, you know, if it's been in the cold and stuff like that, leave it alone. Put it in the house. Leave it for a few days, maybe even a week, because wood expands and contracts.
Yeah.
You know, and but basically they'd give a couple £100 for that, and they'd give a couple £100 to the courier, and you can't argue with the courier's price. They've agreed on that, and then they come back to me trying to get money back, but they want to keep the thing or get half the money back.
Yeah.
And what did you say?
Well, it's very, yeah, not in those words, but you know, I said, look, send it back.
Another £200 to send it back.
Well, it's pick up only anyway. I don't want to agree to a courier and waste my entire day waiting in. Oh yeah, we'll be with you between 8 in the morning and 6 at night, and then they don't turn up as well. On top of that,
Yeah, day wasted, isn't it?
You should really have
2 days. It's 2 days wasted because they've got to come again.
You should go live from the auctions. I mean,
Yeah.
literally live, and show what you're like. These TV shows about auctions. We used to watch one, didn't we, with Billy? Do you remember Billy?
Oh, that
he was
yeah.
lovely.
That was all suitcases, lost property. You could bid on a suitcase, but you didn't know what was in it.
But it was all edited, and it would be so much more interesting to watch live the whole thing. You know, you scanning, going, I like that, I'm thinking about that. And stay live and video the auction, and then rather than edited, you know, the whole thing live. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, well,
I'd subscribe.
I did see that auction, and they made a program about some guys, and they were anyway. They went and bought those. Well, they've all been through. All the tasty bits have been taken out. Any valuables? You know, you're getting an old pair of underpants with a fart hole in them, and some out knickers, and you know, a load of jumpers.
Is that those lockups in America? You know, they go to these lockups. They go, hey, we're gonna cut the lock off. You can't go inside. You can't do the. And you open the green Green
Yeah.
Monster opens the door, and we're all looking in, going, "Ooh!"
It's
But you
the
know,
fighting
you
that
know.
everybody
Yeah,
watches.
yeah,
where
yeah.
it's do you fight? Do you have regular competitors that turn up at the same auction and you think, bastard, what are you doing here? It's mine.
Well, I call that it's playing hardball, and it does happen. And it's usually with newbies, and you trot them up and you try to get out before. But I know what to go to. You know, you're thinking, well, all right, if it ends up on my toes, I can get that back. And the thing with the newbies, they've got their hand up. They're buying everything. They're buying the whole auction. You know, I've won it. Yeah, I've won it. And you trot them right up and get out before it lands on you. It's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
And you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to have a strategy. I try not to to fall into that, but you do. It does happen. You just get them to pay loads more. You know, they come and go, and as you've got rid of one out of a room full of people because they're new and they're buying everything, another one will come along. You know,
I suppose they see these TV shows and they think it's easy.
Yeah, but you see, when they can make a lot of money, yeah, 1 month, and then you might go 3 months, you haven't made a penny.
Yeah.
And you've still got, because you need to have premises, so you've still got your rent. You need to have a van, so you're probably paying for your car and you're paying for a van. It's all separate now. Obviously, tax is separate. And they come and go. They'll come into it big time. There's one at the moment. It was quite funny. I don't know them. I haven't bumped into them, but they're smashing it, and they're doing it all through Facebook, and so they haven't got any overheads, and they seem really busy. Not in the best of areas, so you've got a lot of the.
They've still got to store the stuff because I would imagine that you get stuck with a lot of stock.
Yeah, but I've got a special instrument.
If it doesn't sell, it gets made into firewood.
Only fine antiques, only good mahogany.
He's got a futon bed there, made by 6x6, isn't
But
it?
it's
The
true,
wood
isn't it? When you buy
cracking
something,
thing, and he's going to chop it up.
you might, you see these TV shows and they say this is worth that, but it's only worth that if you can sell it, which brings me back to your whiskey glass. I'm fucking buying that. You're coming out to visit soon, aren't you?
Yeah.
Bring it here, Rugby. She's got 50 sobs here waiting
I'll
for
give
you.
you 50 quid. Bring the fucking glass.
She's committed now. She said it in front of 40,000 people.
Jonah, honestly, I researched it when I got it about not a year ago. I was quite chuffed with it. I used it a lot. It's a point of interest because I've got some friends who are big on history, and you'll say, "What do you make of that?" And they'll the mind's going. It's quite exciting. Well,
she wants it. She's not buying it to sell it. She wants to buy it. If it's genuine, it's not reproductions. If it's genuine,
he's fucking around.
She wants to buy it.
He's gone down the cheap shop, bought a glass, and had it engraved.
No, he hasn't. He's not that sophisticated.
No, he's not that sophisticated, actually.
Got nothing to do with it.
It is Lovejoy.
Got nothing to do. I come across all kinds. I've got a back room full of glass, crystal stuff. It's going in the bin, right?
Don't throw that glass in the bin. Oh my god!
Not that one. I'm on about. I've got boxes of crystal glasses and all kinds of stuff.
I don't want your boxes of crystal glasses.
She's a collector. She wants to buy it
I
for
want
herself.
that. I want that glass.
She
I
doesn't
want
want
that,
to.
and I will give you £50.
You can have it. What I'm saying is,
I
researched it.
What's a pony?
I don't know. You ask the company.
I researched it, and you can get them for 15 quid plus whatever the postage is.
What? At Woolworths or something?
That very glass. There was some firm that had made 1 million, probably 2 million of them. And then when he advocated, he said, "Hey, I'm going off marrying Mrs. Simple."
Fucking gone out of business. I don't
And
care.
they all have been smashed.
Oh, you're a Philistine, you really are. You're worse than your brother. My God, you're an unsophisticated
And that's a comment, okay?
pair of fossils.
I'm
Shows
careful
me-
with it. I'm careful with it.
He has
I
got
don't-
a fossil collection.
I don't even watch it.
Fossil
He's
collection.
got a fossil collection. We're all
Anyway,
fossils.
we've done
Right, yeah.
we've done 1 hour 15 minutes there, so I don't want to make it more than an hour because people lose the concentration.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again, okay? We'll do another hour some other time, and we'll talk about some other shit because I've got a load of questions that I wrote down for you.
Yeah.
And we didn't really touch on any of them. So
Oh.
to do with growing up in Liverpool, or just stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to finish on this
And
note, which is
killing
something that
health
I
angels.
never knew. Did you know that, when you go to the docks, the doors open and the thing fills up with water and the ship comes in and they close the dock gates. And so when the tide goes out, the ship's still at high tide. You knew
Yes.
that, yeah. But did you know that it was in Liverpool where they designed and built the first one?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
No. No, I
Down
didn't
by
know.
the pier, apparently.
Well, I mean,
1700s. First
that dock,
And as soon as
that
they did
dock,
that, everyone
yeah.
built them all around the world.
There you go. You'll never
around the
walk
world.
alone.
I suppose Liverpool pioneered a few things, but if you look at the history of Liverpool, as far as I
Let's not go there.
learned, no, we won't go there, but it all came from King John. Yeah.
Yes, I think he gave Liverpool its charter, didn't he? And then he lost his crown. It fell off his head, didn't it, into the water? But I think that
No.
was the D, not the Mersey. So I'm
No.
told.
No, I don't know anything about that. He lost the crown jewels in the wash,
It's true. It's
and then
true.
he got. He
Confusing
was that gutted. He was that gutted. He shit himself to death.
Anyway, good night, and may your God go with you.
Nice talking to you.